Hi, it's Pastor Anderson from the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Fantastic Friday. On a day like today, let's hear what God has to say to us from the Gospel according to St. Mark, the 8th chapter, beginning at verse 1, the New Living Translation. About this time, another large crowd had gathered, and all the people ran out of food again. Then Jesus called his disciples and told them, "I feel sorry for these people. They have been here with me for 3 days, and they have nothing left to eat. If I send them away hungry, they will faint along the way, for some of them have come a long distance." His disciples replied, "How are we supposed to find enough food to feed them out here in the wilderness?" Jesus asked, "How much bread do you have?" 7 loaves, they replied. So Jesus told all the people to sit down on the ground. Then he took the 7 loaves, thanked God for them, and broke them into pieces. He gave them to his disciples, who distributed the bread to the crowd. A few small fish were found, too, so Jesus also blessed these and told his disciples to distribute them. They ate as much as they wanted. Afterwards, the disciples picked up 7 large baskets of leftover food. There were about 4,000 men in the crowd that day, and Jesus sent them home after they had eaten. Immediately after this, he got into a boat with his disciples and crossed over to the region of Dalmanutha. May God bless the reading, the hearing, and the understanding of his word. What a powerful word. If you would look with me at verse 6. It says, "So Jesus told all the people to sit down on the ground." I want to talk about for the next few moments, organized ministry. Organized ministry. Notice what Jesus does. The people have been following him. They have been following him because he has done great miracles. He's done great signs. He's done great wonders. And who wouldn't follow a person like that? They've been with him all day, and now it's time for them to eat. Jesus' disciples offered the suggestion, send them away, but he said, I can't send them away hungry. Notice what he does. At this point in time, he tells the disciples to sit the people down and organize themselves. What a powerful thing that we can learn during this time span of what we call this pandemic, COVID-19, in the midst of this racial unrest, in the midst of all the uncertainty in our country, in the midst of time for us to get ready for a monumental election. I think he gives us something very powerful that is only a 1-point message for us to understand on this morning. Notice what he tells us to do throughout this day and tonight. He says, sit down. It is important for all of us to take a few moments to sit down and to assess ourselves and to organize ourselves. The disciples now instruct the people to sit down. As the people sit down, it is then that they begin to see that they are all working together. I believe it would be exciting if you and I would take a moment and just sit down. Have conversation with those who are in our circle. Those who may not have been in our circle, let's create a circle that we can all sit down and hear what God has to say. This passage is so important to us because it tells us ministry has to be organized. Before we're able to do great things for God and to be used by God, we need to sit down and organize ourselves. It's been a time where we as a congregation, we've sat down and we've talked about how do we do ministry in this environment. But we must first of all sit down and organize ourselves by saying, God, what would you have us to do? That means we have to be engaged in conversation. Conversation is not all a monologue, but it's a dialogue. That means we have to pause and listen as well as speak. It is important for us to sit down, let God speak, and may we listen to his voice and do exactly what he tells us to do. Thank you so very much for allowing God to have us to sit down and have a few moments together. I'll see you tomorrow. Saturday is a wonderful day. I'll see you then. Thank you so very much for your prayerful support and all the things that we have done in ministry to help so many others. We encourage you to please remember to sow a seed. We sow seeds in more ways than one. We can tangibly sow a seed into this ministry by going to thefountainofraleigh.org and click at the donate button. It is from there you can safely and securely give through PayPal, or else you may use the Tithely app. We thank you so very much for your generous support in times past, and we thank you for your present support and what you will do in the future. May God richly bless you, exceedingly and abundantly above all that you're able to ask, say, or think, according to his power at work in you. God bless you.